All right. Welcome one, welcome all to CLOPIXEL Gamers. Right now, we're in the CLO Talk studio, and that's a new channel coming up. In the meantime, you'll be seeing a couple episodes live and exclusive on both my education channel and the gaming channel. Guys, I appreciate you coming in. We got a topic we want to talk about that I've been wanting to briefly touch on for a while, and that is the controversy behind this game right here. And you can see the thumbnail on the screen. Now, it's no secret that I am a huge fan. And when I say huge fan, I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil games. So, we're going to check out a couple articles based on the controversy of how they're considering they're considering Resident Evil 5 to be racist. And we're going to look into that and see what are the nuances of the article and see what reason they're coming up with. All right. So let's check out the first article. This article is talking about the original situation with Resident Evil 5. It says here, we'll just briefly go over it and then we're going to talk about it. Resident Evil 5 was met with controversy in the lead up to the release over its portrayal of African Americans, which was considered some to be insensitive or outright racist. Although present since E3 in 2007, questions on the game setting became mainstream in early 2008 with an MTV interview of critical of Capcom. Apparent tone deafness with following up by other magazines being much more direct in accusations or even suggestions of boycott. Following the game's release, Capcom changed how it made games, giving Western PR teams involvement in early development to highlight potential issues. Now, I want to briefly touch on that part of the article. Now, here's the thing with this. I believe that games in and of itself should be kept on gameplay, storyline. The setting of Resident Evil 5 was in Africa, and one of the main characters is an African. She's your assistant in the game. Shiva is your assistant in the game. Now, I believe something that's intended to be fun is always made so serious and political, and it's always have an agenda that's driven that has nothing to do with the game development itself. Now, me personally, I am currently playing this game live, and I will say that I haven't found anything racist about the game. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and if you think there are some racist aspects to the game. Obviously, if you're going to have certain zombies that are in Africa, they would take on the ethnicity of that region. So they mix it up with the main character, one of the main characters being African. So I really think it's more of a ploy behind the article. But let's get into more aspects of the article, and then we're going to move on to a more recent article around 2003 to talk about the remake and why they're saying they don't want to do the remake because they consider Resident Evil 5 racist. So, Newsweek journalist Nye Croyle was interviewed by MTV in April 2008 to give implications given of the footage. Croyle made it clear his issues were not about whether or not black people should be enemies in the game, but that the poor implementation on Capcom's part conjured up harmful stereotypes comparable to colonial tropes. Not positive black representation was shown in their trailer. Now I gotta stop right here. So the game is a horror survival game. It has zombies in it. The main objective of the game is to figure out what's going on with Umbrella, figure out where the virus is and what's going on. Wesker is your main your main antagonist in the series. He's your main villain, and he is in the process of putting a specific virus, and I won't reveal that. You can see that in the game, which will be like main terror. Now, this is the premise behind a lot of these Resident Evil games. So there's always an aspect of some viral situation going on and some medical practices and experiments that are put onto people that are not necessarily ethically moral or sound. So I don't think they even had the mindset to come from a racist angle. And I enjoy playing Resident Evil 5. I call this the Resident Evil, the gift that keeps on giving. Basically, this version was the improvement of Resident Evil 4 and sort of more of an action-based Resident Evil, yet you still had that survival horror element to it. Now, let's move on to the second article, and then we're going to wrap this video up. But feel free to comment in the comment section below whether you think Resident Evil 5 is racist or not, whether you think it is or isn't. Make sure you address the argument and stake your claim. If you do, present your argument. All right, let's move on to Article 2. All right, so this is a more recent article. All right. So this is from The Gamer, and it is an article by Jade King. The Resident Evil loves a good remake. Capcom has been trading in remainings of its survival horror series since 2002, when the beloved original was brought back to life on the Nintendo GameCube. It's a stellar remake and the definitive version of the classic game. The same can be said for 2019's Resident Evil 2. Love that game. If you haven't played Resident Evil 2, 3 is the bomb. You know, you got Nemesis in there. And I think Raccoon City, which I got right here, Resident Evil Raccoon City. Where is it at? Right here. Resident Evil Raccoon City. This one explains the origin of Nemesis. Alright, so it's a stellar remake and the definitive version of the classic game. The game can be said for the 2019 Resident Evil 2, which many now consider the best in the series since it exploded into the scene years ago. Wasn't great, but I still have fun with this new spin on things. Now Resident Evil 4's turn, a game since the remaster thrice, and now the remake treatment set to introduce this banger to a new generation. Resident Evil 5 is the next logical step, giving it a mostly literal sequel to many of the gameplay mechanics and set pieces. Now this is what I was talking about. It improves the mechanics of Resident Evil 4, but adds more action to it. It talks about the firepower system, but let's get into the meat and the potatoes of the article. Now, here we go. It was still in primary school when Resident Evil 5 was first unveiled. So many understandings of racism and the historical role it plays in global socio-political culture was fairly lacking. I just wanted to murder zombies with my friends. I didn't matter what color they were or what country it happened in. The infection must be cleansed, and not putting upgraded shotguns would be tragic waste. But even back then, there was something uneasy about the game depicting Africa and the awakening marketing eager focus on a white man waltzing into the impoverished town only to murder its inhabitants. Now, this is the aspect that they're coming from and why they find offense in it. But you have to understand something. If they're going to depict it in different regions, you can have a main character, say he's of European descent, going to Europe. And if everybody in Europe is of his nationality, then that's what the zombies are going to turn into. So I just think it's just extra to go the extra mile and just make a political argument of it and to stop a great game like this from being remade. And me personally, I hate it when people utilize these type of games to prove their agenda. So I just want to touch on this briefly. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and hearing me out on the CLO Talks channel. And I'm going to delve more into this topic in another live. So let me go ahead and transition on out. All right. And guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. Anytime you see the promo slides on the screen, and I'll show you the promo slides real quick. When you see these promo slides, you can promo your business or anything you're trying to promote. Let me know in the DMs. Also, you can also join the business tier membership on this channel. And in that business tier, you can promote your business and you'll have a slide on certain lives and also a link to your business in the description of the video. Well, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, the more I get into this live sessions and discussions, the better they'll become. I appreciate you tuning in. Guys, take care. And I'm going to see you on the next live. Peace.